Hello, my gorgeous little pickles, my wonderful rays of sunshine. I'm super excited this week because, and I don't mean this in a big-headed way, but you know that Anna Kennedy made me the Wellbeing Ambassador for her charity, which I'm still pinching myself about, by the way. I thought, because we're revamping the whole Take 5 mental health campaign for the Anna Kennedy online website, and I've been working really hard on it, as has Casey Ainsworth and Anna. And I just really wanted to give you something very special this week. Whiz things up a little bit, you know, give you several ideas of how to get going as we approach the second lot of measures to be lifted through lockdown, because it's important, you know, we all stay together on our way out of lockdown, because we don't really know what sort of a world we're going to find, and I think it's going to keep on changing for a little while, if I'm quite honest. And some things, you know, all the online stuff will probably, I just think our world will have had a massive shift. So it's how we get through that ourselves, and if we're living with anybody who's neurodiverse, how we support them, but also, you know, to be inclusive in everything, because that's how I work. There's no ADHD population, there's no autism population with me, even though very often that's how I was trained. That's no disrespect to anybody who I train with. It's just me, it's just the way I see it, and I think it says a lot that I'm at my most comfortable amongst neurodiverse people, actually. So anyway, I like it all to be inclusive. So mindfulness, what exactly is mindfulness? Some people think, well, is it just, you know, sitting there humming or going like this, or I don't know, watching paint dry? No, it's not. I couldn't dream of having such a boring job. Mindfulness is amazing. It's a massive spectrum, a bit like the autism spectrum. It involves so many different things. There's sound, there's what you see, there's gratitude, there's yoga poses are very mindful, massage is mindful. It's anything that you do where you're absolutely engaged in the present moment. You're not worrying about yesterday, you're not worrying about tomorrow, you're fully engaged in something. So it might be, you know, a gratitude exercise where you, not an exercise, that makes it sound like homework, I'd never do anything so boring. I don't know, you might have sweeties, and for each colour sweetie you say something that you're grateful for. So it could be a gratitude exercise. It could be something like thinking about your language around gratitude. So instead of saying, oh, I'm so sorry I'm late everyone, say thank you for waiting for me. It's just tilting the brain a little bit, beginning to build new positive neurological pathways, and we are in charge of those, not our teachers, not other professionals. They can be very useful, but we are in charge of our brains. We are in charge of what we do with that grey matter inside our brains that I'm always banging on about, because I just think it's so exciting. And if you want to look up a little bit more about this and have some idea, have actual pictures of what mindfulness does for the brain to it actually on a neuroscientific level, and you want to have a few ideas of what you can do for mindfulness, if you go on to Anna Kennedy online and click on the Take 5 campaign, you'll see some information there that you can freely use, whether you're a therapist, a parent. You know, I'm not making any money from this, I just want to share. We're all together, aren't we? You know, and even if you're hanging off a cliff by a piece of cotton like me half the time, you know, well, let's just swing on it together and make it a bit of an exciting bungee jump. Anyway, so here's the first thing. Breathing is also part of mindfulness. So I've shared breathing with you before, so I've got to try and remember what I've shared with you so I don't bore you and repeat it. So first of all, flower breathing. Imagine you've got a great big flower in front of you, and for me it would be my favourite, a sunflower. And imagine it's really big. If you'd like it to be big, you might still want it little. I don't know, it's up to you. You're in charge, it's your present moment. So but mine is a massive big sunflower. And you're just going to breathe in that beautiful smell through your nose. And I know sunflowers don't really have that much of a smell. So for me, it's going to be a warm, sunny afternoon. That's what's coming from my sunflower. Cut grass and endless hours, you know. So I'm holding my flower and then gently breathing out. I'm going to hold its face because I love it so much. And gently breathe out. Now, if you've got a child who's really finding it very difficult and challenging getting through all these transitions, tell them they could be dragons, or if their passion at the moment is dinosaurs, I'm thinking of Anna's son here. You know, you could turn into a dinosaur or a dragon and do that breathing. So that's a lot fiercer. So you're breathing, instead of very gently, just in and out of the nose and then out through the mouth, what we're going to do is breathe into our tummies and imagine there's fire there and all these things that are making us cross and frustrated and that we don't understand, and we're going to blow them out like a great big dragon or a dinosaur. And you know, I do this, and I'm an adult. Well, sort of. I'm more like a large child, really, who knows a few things because I've studied a few things, but that's neither here nor there. So you're going to take a great big deep breath in to your tummy and then blow it out as hard as you can until you feel you've got no breath left. And funnily enough, it does clear you. Obviously, if you're standing in a church or a public place, that might alarm the people around you. So I tend to do it when I'm on my own somewhere. And often that's outside. I might go up in my woods. I might go into my therapy chalet. But believe you me, the power of it is amazing. And do you know, if you practice gratitude for just 21 days or practice mindfulness for 21 days, you literally build that new neurological pathway in your brain. Now, how empowering is that? And it's important to feel empowered as we transition through these times. I'm aware I'm shouting a little bit, but it's not because I'm cross, it's because I'm just so excited about this week. Anyway, the other thing you can do if you're feeling in a bit of a calmer mood, or you want to get a child to go to sleep, you could do rainbow tracing and breathing, so that you can either physically have a rainbow that the child can then trace, and you can do it with them. It's important you do it with them. Or you might have one in your mind that you can trace. And I was a bit of an unprepared Mrs. Blue Peter today, so I'm going to have to imagine mine. So red, I'm going to trace red. And as I do, I'm going to breathe in and out. Right, 5 things I can see. A wall hanging, fairy lights, bright yellow walls, a painting of a hare that my friend did for me, and a painting of me dancing on sand dunes, a charcoal drawing that my friend Millie did of me. There you go, that's just random. Right, yellow, so we're going to go back. 4 things I can touch. My head, my fluffy jumper, because the weather's being a bit bipolar today. No offence to anybody with bipolar, but it is. It's quite exciting. Never know what's coming next. I can also touch the fluffy pom-pom on my slipper. I always wear my slippers. It's funny that is. And I even take them on talks sometimes. It's outrageous, but it helps me be comfy when I'm talking to people. I can touch the cool marble of my fireplace, and I can touch the soft books behind me. All those worlds inside pages that you can just explore and dive into. That's mindfulness. Reading is mindfulness. That was unrehearsed. Right. So the next thing is 3 things I can hear. So I'm tracing over the rainbow. I can hear my breathing. I can hear the jingle jangle of my bangles, and I can hear birds outside. Right, so I'm going back now. I'm going to do a big streak of bright pink. I can feel it coming on. You don't have to stick to conventional colours of the rainbow, by the way. Rules are there to be curved and, you know, nipped under and over, and it's all good. 2 things I can smell. I can smell essential oils because I've been working a lot this morning with Neroli Light, which is my absolute favourite. So I can smell that. And I can also smell the oils because I always fling oils all over my sofas so that it all smells lovely. And so I can smell rose geranium and clary sage. And then I'm going back one last time. Something I can taste. 3 ginger tea, which I had just before doing this because I needed to wake up a little bit. And I know that sounds disgusting, but it's actually gorgeous. I'm so glad I tried that one. It's my latest thing. So then we can move on to a little bit of yoga. So if you don't fancy breathing, or you have a child that actually gets distressed by having to focus on their breathing, and I've had that too. I've had kids with pathological demand avoidance who find that really such a struggle, and actually can send them up into that high arousal state where they're really not happy, you know, if you try and make them do it. If a child isn't happy to do it, there's all other ways to meet them where they are at. It's never about making a child sit down and do something. So, yoga. I've got a couple of easy ones here. I've done other yoga videos with games and all sorts, and honestly, go back and have a look at those. I hope I was a bit better behaved in those than this one, but I doubt it. So we're going to do some calm ones today because we're being very mindful. So imagine I'm lying down on my back. I haven't got anybody to film me today, so I can't actually do it. But if you're lying on your back and you're literally, it's called stargazing, and you find a point, and I do this outside. If you do it inside, you might want to look at a light or a droplet on a chandelier, or a mark on the ceiling where you think, oh, blimey neck, I forgot to paint that bit. But don't get engaged in that, just accept it as a little quirky thing. But I like doing it outside, and I love doing it at night. And I actually do this. I lie on my garden table and I will literally stargaze, and I'm up there and I just breathe in deeply and out deeply. In deeply and out deeply. But I'm looking at the stars. If there's a moon, even better. Or it might be a cloud formation if it's the daytime, you know. It might be the clouds moving across the sky like paints on an artist's canvas, you know. You're there, you're in it. Nothing else matters, you know. It's fantastic. It really works. The other thing you might want to do is the kite. And even if you have reduced mobility or you're in a wheelchair, you just, as you breathe in, lift your arms up and just hold your arms above your head. And that opens up the diaphragm. It gets that happy hormone, the serotonin, zooming up through your body, flooding you with happiness, confidence, self-esteem. These things are key to our mental health as we transition through lockdown lifting. And then just bring your arms down again. So that's a couple of yoga ones that you could do. And then there was one other thing I came up, because some children don't really like to sit still. That's why I love yoga, because you can get them exercising and they don't realise it's mindfulness, you know, and it's boosting immunity, it's opening up the diaphragm, getting them breathing well. But you might have a child who's really not up for it that day, and that's fine. If you've got a very artistic child, or someone whose passion is drawing or paints or crafting, or, you know, whatever it is, you could get them to do something as simple as this. I tell you, you really don't need anything. You just need a bit of paper and some imagination, and you can draw the trunk of the tree, and you can write in it, I am strong, and then do all these bubbles, and you can sit with your child and talk about, you know, what makes you strong. And this is really important as we go through lockdown, because a lot of us are scared. You know, what are we going to find? So the first thing I put in one of my bubbles is doing something anyway, even when I'm scared. In fact, especially if I'm scared. You know, things that make me strong. Okay, I'll admit to something here. I've done public speaking for many years, advocating for kids who are neurodiverse. And it began with my journey with my own son, and now I've just got thousands of kids, and I love it. And yeah, it's just a gorgeous job. But, you know, it's finding that ability, that strength to speak, often to hundreds of people at once, you know. And I've almost been bent over the loo before. Luckily, nothing's come out, but it's felt like it might. And it's, you know, I'm scared stiff. But I know my stuff. And I think at the end of the day, Juliana, you're not doing this for you. You're not doing this because it's about you. It's about these kids. So I would put the faces and names of these kids in my tree. It would have to be a blimmin' massive tree. Maybe I'd have to make a forest of strength. But I do. I think of my children, my own children. I think of the children I'm fighting for, and it is fighting for. I think of the parents who keep me strong, because I understand their journey, and I want to fight for them too, so they never go through the heartache that I went through with my son. You know, what else makes me strong? My own family, their belief in me, you know. So there's loads of different ways to be strong. Or you could fill your tree with gratitude. You could even fill your tree with your friends or family, people who give you those really wonderful qualities. You know, my mum taught me to fight. She taught me to reason, to back up my arguments with facts, to always be learning. I got a lot of humour from my dad, a lot of knowledge as well. You know, his ability to speak with anybody regardless of where they're from, you know. I've learned an awful lot from my children. I've learned to speak in public. I've learned to do all these things I never thought I'd do. They gave me the courage to write my book. So this is all mindfulness. And this is all, if we're all in this together, that's something else I put in my tree. That would be a big one right in the middle, that we are all in this together. And that helps me be strong, because I know that even on my worst days, I'm not alone. So those are just a few thoughts. I've babbled on today for nearly a quarter of an hour. I keep saying I need to make a series of documentaries because honestly, I just go on and on and on. There's so much I've got to share with you. I might have to do a bit more mindfulness next week. I'll see how I feel when I wake up next Monday morning. Anyway, for more information about what it does to the brain, what it does for you, how we're all in it together, to download a few ideas, go on to AnnaKennedyonline.com even. And by the way, if you quite like my videos, you can even do that little thumbs up thing at the bottom, which I think you do to like people's videos. And you could even subscribe if you're mad enough, because I got loads more coming your way. Anyway, darlings, have a wonderful week, and I will see you next Monday. Lots of love, everyone. Bye-bye.